this is Pamela from Design Wishes by Pamela, here to share with you project number 2 from the Reinventing a Project series. And this whole project started out by undoing a project that I previously had put together and designed. And that project was using the Graphic 45 Flutter paper collection. So this is the original project, and these are some photos of the original elements. Here's where you can see the whole entire video series on this project. I did use this project to submit to the 2019 Graphic 45 Design Ambassador contest. Sadly, I didn't make the contest, but I believe in making lemonade out of lemons, and so I don't think this project is a lemon, but I decided to go ahead and redo it. So if you follow me on my YouTube channel and follow me on my blog, you know the very first reinventing project was if kind of a steampunk vintage looking photo stand where I used Stamperia's art, the alchemy paper collection. And so here's just a few photos of what that project looked like. But again, I just shared with you the link on where to find the project, so you could stop the video at that section and then go to my YouTube channel and check it out. So here's project number 2, using some of those elements from the original design project. For this project, I decided I am going to be using a canvas base, and thanks to my sister Mary, she gifted me this denim canvas here. And what I'm going to be showing you, and I'll speed up the video a little bit, uh, I'm going to show you some of the techniques that I use to create the base for the canvas. So I'm just wetting it down here with some water. And the reason why I'm doing that, I think I can get a better coverage of the distress oxides that I'm going to be using. And if you're not familiar with that, they are from Tim Holtz and Ranger ink. And so I wet the canvas down just enough. You can see a little bit of the water there so that it is slightly damp. And then I'm just going to start layering my distress oxide colors onto the canvas, and I'm just lightly rubbing the pad onto the canvas. And the plan is here to start out with the darker on the outside and then work my way up to the lightest color on the distress oxide pads that I have in front of me. So that is what I am doing here now. I'm just going to go through. So now what I'm going to do is take two different types of sprays. They're kind of metallic, and some of them are a little bit of pearl essence. The first set that I'm using is from Ranger ink, and they are Dina Wakely's Media Mica sprays. So that is what I'm using first. And then I will be using some of the tattered angel sprays. They're more pearly like. There's some perfect pearls there from Ranger as well. And even though some of once it dries, it's not going to show up as much, I really just want to sort of like stain the denim with some color so that it's not as stark as when you saw the canvas in the beginning. There is some of that tattered angels spray there. So I'm really again, the goal that I was trying to reach with this canvas is just to stain the canvas with some um, color, not so much get the texture, but really just patina it a little bit. I thought it was a little bit too strong if I left the denim canvas the way it is. And I'm calling this a denim canvas, but actually this canvas is basically a large piece of denim that's been stretched over a wooden frame. And again, I'm going to have to thank my sister Mary, because she found the canvas at a thrift store and she gifted them to me. So I believe she gifted them. Mary, if I owe you anything for these canvas, you can hit me up later, but I believe they were gifted to me. So back to what I'm doing. So I'm just layering a bunch of different sprays onto the denim, just to get us some color. I'm thinking about the florals from the original project. What can I do to kind of complement them but not overpower them? So now it's time to start looking at my elements that I added onto the canvas. Here I cut a piece of Recollections cardstock and using some color box pigment ink in white. I'm just gonna brush the edges a little bit of the card on the cardstock. I just want it to pop it a little bit so that this is going to be the base for the photo when I mount it on there. So I just wanted to give it a little bit more uh, texture, but also tie it into the whitewash on the shutters there. And the piece is cut, the cardstock piece is cut approximately 3¼ by 4¼ and that is the width and length of the inside of the Prima marketing shutter there. The other thing I'm going to do is apply some foam squares on the back of the cardstock to pop it up a little bit, but also to hide those inside bracket pieces from the shutter piece. I didn't want to really see them. I could have just took the screws off and put the cardstock down on the wood, but rather than do that, I decided to go ahead and cut that piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to take off the tabs of my foam squares. And I put so many on there because I really want it to be level when I add the photo onto it. I'll do another layer onto the photo before I add it onto this black piece of cardstock. The mauves that you see, the beautiful mauves that you see, are from the paper collection. I actually took a piece of the designer paper and I fussy cut them out of that designer paper. But they are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, hard to believe that I would be talking about insects this way, but they are, and Graphic 45 did a great job in showcasing them in the Flutter paper collection. So I'm just pressing down those foam squares onto the shutters to make sure that it's on there securely. And then what I'll be doing is just making sure, and there again, it's the Parisian shutters from Prima Marketing. I'm going to make sure that I am centered top to bottom, left and right on my canvas for placement. And even though I kind of centered it actually in the center, I ended up moving it up a little bit onto the upper part of the canvas piece there because I wanted to be able to easily fit my title, Flutter, which is the name of the paper collection from Graphic 45. And this, I just lifted that right off of the original element project design that I showed in the beginning. Here's one of those beautiful mobs there. And then I'm checking for placement. You know, in carpentry, they tell you to measure twice, cut once. I believe that's also true in paper crafting or any craft that you do. you doing a dry placement works, and that's what I was doing there. So all of the flowers, for the most part, that you see that I used here were cut from a Graphic 45 large tag and flower metal die set. All the leaves, all of the flower petals are cut from them. And the great thing about it is I didn't have to do it from this project. I was able to take those off the original project and just use them again here. And once again, I am just doing a dry fit just to see how the placement of everything will go. And just a little tip, what I do is once I get everything in place, I take a photo of it so that I won't forget what I did. Often though, I change my mind, but that's okay. But having that photograph of where the original thought process is in coming up with the placement really, really helps me move the design further. So now this is the finished design project, and I didn't really use every element from the original project, but I did use quite a bit of the florals and the greenery that I used on the original Flutter project. I truly love the way this canvas turned out. For the photo, just to let you know, I did cut a piece of medium weight chipboard the same size of the photo, which is a wallet print, and I lifted that up one more time with that to give it a little bit more dimension. Here I'm showing you, I just used some picture hanging hardware, some satin ribbon, and that will be the hanger for this art piece. I really, truly love the composition of this. I think the bright color of the flowers and the moths from the Flutter paper collection you see here really make um, the the composition stands out well against the painted denim canvas. So again, here are the dies that I used, the Graphic 45 large tag and flower die set. If you don't have it, you should get it because it's very versatile. And then for all of the flower details that I'm pointing out there, some of the little tiny white and flowers, I actually cut that out of the, fussy cut those out of the paper collection, but the rest are from the die set. I use once again the Parisian art shutter for, it just makes a lovely window for a photo. So truly like those. Glad I had two sets of them. So to do that edging that I'm showing you here, I use Prima Marketing, Finnebear Art Alchemy. They have a Opal Magic, and it's kind of waxy, like a waxy paint. I love this. If you guys follow me on my YouTube channel, I use a lot of this Finnebear Prima Marketing Art Alchemy product in various colors. It dries permanently, but for the purposes of this project, I used one of my newer paint brushes, and I just picked up a very, very little bit and I brushed the edges. I think it frames the canvas really well. This Opal Magic has kind of a pearlescent color to it, so I really like the way it turned out. The mauves have a little bit of detail, and some of the tiny flowers have a little bit of detail. And if you see here on this black and green moth, you can see a little bit of shininess. I achieved that shininess using glossy accents, which I will show you in a little bit. to make the You Make My Heart, I just use it. I don't even have the name of the watercolors anymore, but I got them at a scrapbook expo, and I colored the cardstock first, let it dry, set up the font in my Cameo uh, software, and then I cut it out on the Cameo. The brads that you see here come from SEI. I have had them for a very long time. I don't even know the name, I'm sorry, of the paper collection, but it's from many years ago, and it's S.E.I. If you are familiar with scrapbooking, you know that company very well. So there you can see a little bit of the kind of enamel look that I got on some of the mauves that you see there, and a few of the little tiny white flowers. That kind of acrylic shiny element is again achieved by using some glossy accents. I added it to, those are the tiny little flowers that I added to just for a little shine and sparkle. Some of the other flowers do have a embellishment, a kind of a glitter, and not a glitter, but a jeweled element. And again, I just took the glossy accents and I just dabbed the areas where I wanted that little bit of shine, and then I let it dry. You do need to make sure that it is dry and that whatever you're putting it on is flat, or as flat as you can get it, because while it's drying, it will run. So you want to be conservative when you're adding it, and just build it up as you go if you want a little bit more. And that's a good example of what it looks like when you just are really careful with the glossy accents there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to do another reinventing project. But if you're looking to find me, here's where you can find me. It's one stop. Thank you for watching.